Okay, I did not look at these, just so you know. Um, I'll just do my best with this. There are questions. These are questions, in fact. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Majora Q&A for the month of June 2022. We got questions. They're in the Discord. Your sworn brothers. Check it out. Links in the description below. It's great to have everyone and to jump back in for a round of Q&A. I'm very excited. I guess the last one was from May 28th from Terry 309 under the moniker I Will Destroy Microsoft. How's it going, Terry? Have you done it yet? Is Pokemon an instrument? Is Pokemon an instrument? What do you mean? Is Pokemon an instrument? The closest I can think of is like Jigglypuff, which will sing. I don't know any Pokemon Theater Rhythm games. Hey You Pikachu has a microphone. And Pokemon Stadium has minigames. What does it mean? I don't know. I don't know. What do you mean, Terry? Oh, no. Okay. I can't answer that. I don't know. Which Pokemon is the most badass and why is it Blastoise? That's from Mad Matt, the Metalhead Mecha Pilot. Represent. We had him last time. He joined for MT Speaks. What Pokemon is the most badass and why is it Blastoise? Well, that's two questions. I can answer the first and I can answer the second if the second is the answer to the first. But my answer for the first is probably Zoroark. Zoroark. Do you know what Zoroark is? This is like a Gen 5er. I don't know about the new one, but this one is like heavy metal. Dark type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. Thank you, Pokemon fandom. So the other question is why is it Blastoise? Why would it be Blastoise? Oh, could you even see Zoroark? Yeah, you could. Okay. I forgot I had the view thing changed, but I'm not going to go back and forth with that. Blastoise is a classic. It's got blasters on his back. Learns Hydro Pump, which though has low accuracy, is one of the most devastating moves. Water is generally one of the more usable types. I don't think it's not very effective on much except for grass, which grass is like already kind of a weak type. Is water not very effective on anything else? I can't think of anything. I think water is like one of the most OP types. So Blastoise would be a good pick, I would have to say. Competitively, and then Blastoise is just like kind of like an alpha Pokemon, I would say. Multimaster, what was my first Pokemon game? Red, on the Game Boy Color. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember being at camp, and the kids in camp would be linking up with Game Boy Colors and trading and battling Pokemon, so I was a little behind them, but I was so enamored and excited, and I wanted to see, and it just was a craze that was hitting. You know, I lived in the peak of the Pokemon craze. And so I got on board. I got onboarded with Red. Later I would get Yellow. My copy of Red either was lost or I got my cousin's for some reason. His had a W on the back because his first initial was W. And his save battery had died. So I remember sometimes I would boot it up and just play as much as I could. And I really liked Red. I would play it on car rides. And I think at school, I remember watching a friend drop his Game Boy Color in the swimming pool at a meet one time. And there was like races happening. People were racing, so we had to wait. And then in between, somebody dove in the pool really quickly, got it out, and it was still working. I was shocked. But red is nostalgic. It's fun. Doesn't look great nowadays, but I think it's still a classic in many senses of the term. Thank you for the question. Who is Amir? That's your amigo. It's your friend. Mad Matt asks, Shin Megami Tensei or Digimon? Exclamation mark question. Exclamation mark question mark. Exclamation point question mark. Strange. What is more badass? Come on, bro. It's SMT. You're fighting with demons, recruiting them, fusing them, all of the above. And it's based in mythology, lore, religion. Yeah. I like SMT a lot. Which is more badass? Yeah, come on. It's SMT. SMT. Which Pokemon would be great on an 80s heavy metal album cover? I kind of answered that with Zoroark. But I could pick a different one. 80s, huh? Oh my gosh, what is Grookey's evolved form? I don't know the name. But I mean, I just like Grookey the most. But for an 80s heavy metal album cover, that one's a drum player. Grookey evolved form. This thing. This one. The hell is it called? Why is it so hard to get to the evolutions? That should be the first thing I see. What the hell? No criticism or anything, but like Thwacky Rillaboom. There's no picture. What? It's broken. Okay, so the really cool thing, as much as I'm not crazy about Sword and Shield, they have Gigantamax, and when Rillaboom uses the Gigantamax, he becomes huge. I think at the end in the credits, they have him playing the drums or something. Yeah, Rillaboom. Rillaboom. That's a terrible name, by the way. What happened, Pokemon Company? What happened? Would I find myself enjoying Mecha more with a bit more of an open mind? If so, would I consider G Gundam, Macross Plus, or Big O good starter mecha series to get into? You know what? I just go through anime phases where I want to watch and where I don't want to watch. And I think recently, in this age that I'm at, I'm just like not... Anime has been like kind of a turnoff for me. I'm not that engaged when I watch it. I find it cliche. So I've been having a hard time getting back into anime. I would be open to it if the plot line and character development was interesting enough, if it's not only centered on like one protagonist and one villain, if I really feel like there's multiple arcs going on that are well thought out and enjoyable. Would I consider G Gundam, Macross Plus, or Big O good starter mecha series? I tried Macross once. I don't know, or maybe it was Robotech. I think they're the same thing, right? At the time, maybe it was just the wrong time, but I don't know. Maybe it kind of gave me Top Gun vibes. Like I'm not that big into Top Gun, so I don't know. I would try it again. Speaking of mecha, would Front Mission, Ring of Red, Armored Core be good games to start on? I know a lot of people like Armored Core. You know what I would want to try? What's that Xbox original game where it like has the whole setup? It's like Steel something, and it's like you're actually in the mech. It's this huge thing. What the hell is it? Steel. I don't know, but it has like a whole peripheral that comes with the game. I think that would be really cool to get into. It would be a huge novelty, but I think I would be down to try it. Do you know about that game? Let's look it up. Xbox Steel Battalion. Steel Battalion. Let me see here. Here we go. Steel Battalion is a video game created by Capcom for the Xbox console where the player controls a vertical tank, a bipedal, heavily armored mecha. I want to try that. That's my starter mecha game. Yeah. I will destroy Microsoft. Why do you think adults still play Pokemon today, even though it's the same story they played back when they were kids? I think it's important as an adult to cherish the things that are important to you. And so even if it's the same story, it's become iconic in many senses of the term. I tried playing Fire Red recently, and my GBA has a blemish on it. So when I look at the text screen, there's like a dot there, and it's kind of pissing me off. So I don't think I can play it right now with my current means. But I think that there is a love of the simplicity, the creativity that went into some of those old school ones. They were so inspired. The Satoshi guy, he was like a bug collector. And, you really see that reflect in the game itself. A lot of this catching element, this training, this sense of friendship and camaraderie with your team building. It is one of the best, I think, in terms of like party recruitment and monster tamers. It's the most successful, undeniably. We looked at the GBA sales numbers. It's the top 5. The top 5 is Pokemon games. So I think there is something to be said about how iconic some of the originals are. The future ones have a different element for different audiences, for more competitive players that I think a lot of people who were young at that time, starting in Gen 5, Gen 6, really got into. Pokemon Showdown was a phenomenon. Being able to just create teams on the web and then play whoever and then battle with them. And I think adults nowadays, the people who are kids then who have become adults now, hold on to that aspect. I got into a whole conversation with a coworker who was really into Pokemon, and he was shocked that I was also into it. I think it's not rare per se, but I think that people attribute meaning to Pokemon throughout the ages. And they've done things that have made it successful since then. I think Sword and Shield is a misstep. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Because if the goal is for it to be Breath of the Wild-esque, I think they failed. There may be an open wild or whatever. You have to download DLC for it. It should have been that from the start. So I don't know what the longevity of the Pokemon thing is. Arceus was a novelty. People didn't really latch onto that. I still want to play it sometime, but, So I think that's why people would still play Pokemon to this day, because it has a lot to offer to a lot of different audiences. I guess I appreciate that they're trying new things, with Sword and Shield and Scarlet, Violet, etc. I just wonder, will it ever reclaim its throne in the same sense? I think it's been overshadowed recently, even on Nintendo hardware. Great question. Matt, which Pokemon would take on Godzilla? Pause. Stop. Which Pokemon would take on Godzilla? Okay, you might be right for this one. It might be Blastoise. Gigantamax Blastoise. I'll give you that. Favorite Final Fantasy protagonist, and why is it Cecil Harvey? I'm not the Final Fantasy guy. I don't know. Favorite Final Fantasy protagonist? I've played... Okay, I played a decent bit of 9. I finished 7. I have begun the first game, and I have begun Final Fantasy 15. I've also begun Final Fantasy 13 Episode 1. But I really didn't play that much into them. I don't know if I like the guy from 9 more than I like Cloud. Yes, I gotta say, from the ones I have played, it's Cloud. Barrett's pretty cool, but I don't know. Do you call him a protagonist or a sub character? Like I don't know. Okay. Grand Papo. Alex from TurboZone. Scenario. You just woke up in Travis motel room in Santa Destroy, California. Which of the assassins from the first No More Heroes game are you going to fight as Teddy? You aren't Travis, but you can use his weapons. Whoa, do I have short-term memory or something? I don't remember any of the... I remember some of them. I remember ones I would not want to fight. Okay, it's got to be the one that just gets blown up in the desert. It's Let's Move. I remember that because of the Wii joke. Or Let's Shake or something. Let's Shake It. I don't remember. It's that one. Because I don't want to die. If I couldn't pick that one, let's go with the baseball guy. Yeah. Mad Matt, the Metalhead Mech Pilot. What would you consider Game of the Year 2022 so far? And why is it Elden Ring? It's not. Game of the Year 2022 so far. I had an answer for this. Didn't a Mario game come out this year or something? I don't think I can give it to Nintendo Switch Sports. I want to, but I don't think that's it. Maybe it's Mario Strikers. I know Axel likes that one. Yeah. Favorite kaiju and why is it Gamera? Kaiju is like an oversized monster. It's probably Godzilla. Do I know any other major kaiju? Okay, maybe it's from Rampage. Maybe it's the monkey from Rampage. Yeah. Terry309, am I a distant relative of Diamond Dallas Page? I don't know. Let's look up his ancestry. This is the guy who you say I sound like, right? Hey guys, welcome to... I don't remember what he sounds like though, because you were saying I sound like him. Okay, let's go to audio. Diamond Dallas Page. Actor, fitness instructor, and retired professional wrestler. He's in New Jersey, East Coast, represent. He's billed from Jersey Shore. German, Irish, and Dutch origin. I think I have some Germanic and some Irish roots. Dallas came from the Dallas Cowboys. Yeehaw. Okay. My answer is going to be no. No. Hold on. My doorbell's getting rung. You got to give me a sec. But my answer is no. Oh my gosh. Distractions. Wow. Lots coming up. Okay. It's cool though. We're back. Back in full effect. The answer to this last one was Terry309. Are you a relative of Diamond Page? No. I'm looking at my chat. I shouldn't look at my chat. We have the same catchphrase. It's me. That's it. That's the one. That's like, okay, cool. All right. BioPhoenix. What character do I think is overhated by everyone? Overhated. I think Bubsy is just universally hated. I don't think people are even willing to acknowledge that his games are playable. But I can't qualify that, so I don't know. What social media platform do I think is the worst? Okay, I'm going to give a controversial take to this one. I think it's Instagram. I think a lot of people will defend Instagram and say, oh, I use Instagram because it's just pictures. It's not like the other ones. But I think that makes it even worse because that just means that you're okay using it still. You are making excuses to use it when at the end of the day, any social media is essentially going to be used in a way that is not productive. Now, not everyone needs to be productive, but I find that a lot of social media is time sinks. I don't think the same thing about YouTube. I think that YouTube is mostly a creative outlet. People say, oh, well, I use it to take pictures and stuff. Okay, pictures, fine. But you still have the mechanisms to scroll endlessly through a lot of these things, through people's pictures, and go like, oh, yeah. And it's a substitute for actual interaction and engagement with people. You are not actually engaging with someone by clicking like on their stuff. And I think that I just really don't like social media culture. And I think people will make excuses to use whatever platform it is. And so I'm off social media. I don't use it really. With the exceptions of Discord and YouTube, which I think are a little bit different in their engagement. Discord has its own problems, but I think I generally like what Discord does. Same with YouTube. I think YouTube has its own problems, but I generally like what YouTube does and offers. So you don't have to agree with me, by the way. You can have a different take. But I just think people should humble themselves and open their minds to the fact that maybe they are just writing off why they use what they use. Saying, no, this isn't bad for me. I think that Google and these companies have become people's second families. I think we expect in this day and age, in the information age, to be engaged and involved in every little thing, and we substitute things like if I'm even looking for medical advice, instead of maybe asking my parents, I will just look on Google. And I think with social media it's kind of similar in like instead of having a sit down and a talk and dinner or whatever, we'll just share photos on Instagram. And like I don't think people should lie to themselves either. I think that Instagram promotes this kind of like substitute for not just friendships now, it's a lot of other things. I mean, all of these companies do, really. Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But they provide like substitutes for like politics, substitutes for self-help. And like, I guess there is that thought of like, oh, anybody could make it or do it or, whatever. And cool. But I think the image that is most coveted and portrayed on social media companies by individuals is an unhealthy standard. I don't agree with it. YouTube has always felt a bit more homey to me. Like I can just kind of do what I want on here. But again, this is my perspective and it's how I see things. So not entirely gaming related, but I'm okay with the question. I'm happy to espouse my views. What Sonic game has the best and worst OST? I can only speak from my experience. I haven't played every Sonic game. I like the OST from Sonic and Knuckles the most. And the worst is arguably Sonic 1. What other Sonic games have I played? What other Sonic games have I played and finished? Sonic 1, 2, 3, 3 and Knuckles, Sonic CD. Ooh, CD is weird. I don't know if I like... I mean, I like the main theme, but I don't know if I like some of the other tracks in there. Sonic 1, the only one I really like is Starlight Zone. Green Hill Zone is fine. Labyrinth Zone is farty. Same with Marble Garden is okay. Marble Garden isn't bad. And then Scrap Brain. Am I going to go listen to Scrap Brain? No, definitely not. And then have I finished any of the 3D Sonics? I finished Adventure on the Sonic path, but not the other characters' paths. I think I got close with Tails. I just don't remember it very much. I kind of like the guitar riffs. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I know other people do, though. Okay. All right, and Multimaster has the last questions for us. I am going to type in the chat questions for the next episode. We'll start here. Cool. All right, I've always been a strong believer in that morals define the greatness of a man or woman. Where or what ways do you think people stray from that path? From their own morals? I think it's important to remember that people are humans, are creatures, are animals, and they make mistakes. And I don't think we're defined by our mistakes. Some mistakes are irreversible. Some mistakes are hard. You know, they're hard to live with. But we're all human. We all make these mistakes. And you live and you learn from them. And it's okay. It's okay as long as you own it. As long as you know it, you work through it. You know, so I also don't know if it's healthy to have an inflexible moral. I think you need to be open-minded, not to submit yourself to one doctrine. Because the world is a diverse and a vast place, and people have, you know, I think it's important that we learn from each other. We understand each other's values and morals. I think there are concepts that I think are important, like being a good person generally. And like I set things for myself, like, but I have to be forgiving. I have to be forgiving if I don't live up to them, and understand and learn from it if I need to. You know, I think that maybe people don't reflect enough. I think that sometimes we tie ourselves too closely to our belief systems and our values. But again, it's just my personal take. Seeing as it is June BA, as in GBA month over at the Button Mappers, did I get to experience any multiplayer GBA games back in the 2000s? No. I don't think I played any GBA games multiplayer. I played Game Boy Color multiplayer, but I don't remember doing any trades or battles with like Emerald or anything. I primarily used GBA as like a single player console. Through an adapter, have I ever played up to 4 players or seen anyone do this? Just you. Do I prefer salts or sweets? Salt. Have I been watching the NBA playoffs? No, I don't have cable. Who do I think will win it all? Celtics or Warriors? I'd go Celtics. And that's going to conclude Q&A for the month of June. Fun questions, actually. I didn't mind these. And I think a couple of them lent themselves nicely to some conversation. So that's going to do it for Q&A. If you want to leave a question for me for next Q&A, go ahead, join the Discord, Sworn Brothers. Also check out the Button Mappers. You can ask us a question over there for Game Talk. Game Talk will be releasing Monday of next week, depending when this goes up. Or it's already out, in which case you can watch it. Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.